What is going on, everybody? It's the Reformation Keegan, and I'm here with another comic review. So, today I'm doing something a bit different. I'm not just going to do Superman, I'm going to expand some horizons, and I'm going to talk about Wonder Woman. So, Paul Dini and Alex Ross, they've done a lot of stories, and they're all in this book that was given as a gift to me. And I thought I would read Wonder Woman Spirit of Truth. So, with Wonder Woman, she's an interesting case because I never really delved much into the character until I want to say about a year ago. And I read Absolute Wonder Woman for the first time. I was absolutely mind blown at how good it was. And I really like the mythological aspect of Wonder Woman. I love the origin of Wonder Woman. And I really like the characterization that she portrays. Because to me, it's very similar to Superman, where she's very good natured and she has to try to fit in with people that are not so good. And that makes for a really interesting topic of discussion. So I always have my notes with me, so if I do look every now and then, understand why. In English, we are taught to improvise and have our notes and conference papers. We do not read scripts. Not usually. Some people may, but you shouldn't. And that's what I'm going to do here, is I'm going to have a conversational type of video because I think it relates more. And if I just read a script, it might get a little bit boring. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the story. I'm not going to give you a plot summary on it because I think that defeats the purpose, because most reviews that you get on YouTube are just plot summaries, and I want to avoid that a bit. So I want to get into the themes and the motifs that are within the narrative and what Paul Dini is trying to say and what Alex Ross is even trying to say in his own art. So what I like about this at the beginning is obviously the art. So the art speaks. The art is its own language, and you can even see through Alex Ross's depictions there is a lot going on, right? You have action and you have a pose, and posing with the action scenes can really tell a lot rhetorically because you're getting a semblance of what the character is, and then you're getting a semblance of the actions of why the character does what she does. And the diction also through Paul Dini is amazing because Paul is really good at exploiting injustice and morality. That's almost his thing, and he's really good at it. So what's the main message behind this book? People may interpret it differently, and that's fine. I interpret this almost like Superman Peace on Earth, where it exploits not just the greed, but it exploits the misconceptions of humanity and how human beings perceive other things that are supposedly non-human. And that, to me, is realism, because what we describe as human is very subjective. What is it to be human? And that's what I think Paul Dini's wrestling with here. Because humanity is supposed to be civil. We're supposed to be civilized. We're supposed to be in order. And this book shows that we are not that. And we are not in order. So when Diana is trying to stop terrorists, especially near the beginning of the story, she's doing a good deed and she's stopping atrocity. See, the thing is human beings thrive off of atrocity, whether they admit it or not. We need some kind of drama and we need some kind of tragedy to thrive off of. It almost gives us a sense of unhealthy fortitude to go forward. And if you look at a lot of your favorite novels from yesteryear, they thrive off of tragedy and injustice, and that gets a pathos effect out of you. It gets that emotional effect to get you to almost be inspired by pessimism and negativity. So that's exactly what this story is doing. So Wonder Woman, Diana, she saves a lot of people from terrorist attacks, and she saves almost countries, for lack of a better term, for their own selves. She's saving human beings from themselves, and human beings do not understand that. They cannot wrestle with the fact that they are being saved by something supposedly non-human, and they don't like it because it takes away the power struggle, right? And human beings thrive off a power struggle. And Diana is almost too perfect for the world. And Clark even tells her that. So when you are a higher end being and you come to Earth, you almost have to dumb yourself down to fit with them. And that's what Diana does when she tries to assimilate herself, by dressing in human clothes and also by just roaming around areas trying to be normal. But then once human beings get too selfish and too greedy, she has to take off the human clothes, go back to being Wonder Woman to save the day, which has to happen because, again, she's trying to save women and other people and men and even children from themselves, because human beings don't have the cognitive process to learn to agree to disagree, and that happens a lot in our world, and they don't have the cognitive process to negotiate and have peace. Human beings don't thrive in peace. We thrive off of tragedy. And Diana is trying to stop all that tragedy, but it's really difficult to do. And there's another scene where there's a tank going through, and she stops the tank and picks it up, and she saves this girl. And Diana's she's trying to be a regular girl herself in this society, and this girl sees her and immediately judges her. So Diana has to live with human judgment, and she thinks almost that she's doing something wrong when really she's the only one that's really doing anything right. And this girl judges her, and she retreats and runs away, and that hurts Diana because Diana is doing very good deeds and trying to make her civilization a better place for their reputation, but also for the reputation of Earth. And she's coming down the Earth, and she's doing all these good deeds, and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's almost like nihilism. Like, she does it, but to them, it doesn't matter. And that's the part that hurts, is when you are doing all these good deeds, and either human beings don't understand it or they don't want to understand it, so they give you a negative response in return. And that's what's happening here with Wonder Woman. And it's really interesting because you would think anybody saving somebody or saving a country or saving a certain group of people would be idolized and it would be an admirable effort. It doesn't happen. And it's funny because humanity is misconstrued, and where Diana lives, it's almost like a full-on paradise, especially compared to the Earth. And then she comes down to Earth and she sees the harsh realities of it. And it's like, how do you, as a very pure person or pure entity, whatever you want to call Wonder Woman, especially from even a gender point of view in this book, how in a man's world, I put that in quotes, do you come in and stay pure? Because human beings can make you impure. So how do you enter a man's world with all that power, challenging their own agency in general, and make it work? And she tries her best, and Clark is that inspiration for her. And she even says Clark should be an inspiration to everybody. And Clark gives her that fortitude to just try and be a human being, because you don't always need to be the goddess in the Amazon, right? And that's what happens here, is she doesn't always need to be the goddess in the Amazon for every situation, but only when situations are absolutely dire. So there's this theme of moderation where you can be the goddess in the Amazon when you absolutely have to, but when you're on Earth, also try to be an everyday person. And that's the balance that Wonder Woman finds. So that theme of balance. And that's a big thing, especially in stories where a character needs to find that balance, so they either, one, don't go completely insane, or two, they don't become what they once hated, because that's something Diana would never want to do. And Diana is finding that balance where she can still be helpful and still present herself as human, but also in the back pocket be the Amazon that she needs to be in certain situations. So I really like this book because it shows that you can have balance to flourish in the world, even when the world around you is very cruel, harsh, and not very forgiving. So I think this is a very, very, very good book. I'm surprised that stuff like this is not taught in school, and I'm saying that as someone who is still an academic. I think there's a lot of books and narratives that are completely useless, and they are just meant for an entertainment value, for hyperbole and for hyperbolic effect. And I think that books like these should be taught in schools because they give you messages about the world that you really need. And especially today, where judgment is rampant, these books can even give a young woman the fortitude, and I know I've said that a few times now, but the fortitude to accept who they are and go into society and not worry about judgments in a place where, patriarchal themes are still present. And I think that books like these will tell you a lot about the world, and they can hopefully inspire anybody of all genders to be who they are and to accept it, and to also know that at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We are all prone to mistakes. We are all prone to making errors, and we are all prone to being who we are unapologetically, which is a good thing. So that was my takeaway from this book. Let me know what you guys think. I don't like giving a whole plot summary of it because, again, it's too common and you can go read it for yourself. Anyway, I'm just giving you a different detailed analysis on my perceptions of it from an academic's point of view. So let me know what you guys think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. The subscriptions are very much appreciated, as are comments, because I like engaging about comics. It's very fun to me. And hopefully one day I can write some of these, and I would love to. And if the demand is there, I will keep trying to make more of these, and hopefully one day I can craft some of my own stories and publish them and bring them to the forefront, because I think they will be an incredibly different take, but still interrelated to the canons of the character. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. So, but to sign off, let me know what you think of Wonder Woman, Spirit of Truth, and most of all, take care. Have a good day.